Welcome to All Things Social Security. Enjoy your video. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. I hope you're all doing well. I wanted to share with you the response I would give to someone based on a particular post they shared. I just want to find the actual post for you. It had to do with assistive devices such as cane and such, and somehow it just got bleeped out, and I have no idea why. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. I can't believe that whole thing. My whole browser just went out except for the one I'm on with this because I had two different windows open. All right, so this one was where, and this is Mary Jan. So thanks for this one, Mary Jan. The comment was, or question, I suppose. So I asked my doctor to prescribe it to me regarding my condition of weakness in my legs and arms, and I was told by the provider to just buy one. It is documented. Will this help at all? And this was in a response to the video called Must Do, How to Make Your Cane or Walker Be Great Evidence of whatever the rest of the title is. I'm only looking at what I can see without actually watching the whole thing. So I just want to get into the whys. I know the doctor's not thinking legalistically. So he's just saying common sense. Yeah, get a cane if you want. And it's probably just cheaper to go to the pharmacy and pick one up than to deal with, insurance or whatever. May or may not be true. I don't know. But I do know this. If you are using a cane and it's not, sorry, that's the bird. You can't see her, but she's right there. If it's not prescribed, she's rambunctious. If it's not prescribed, or at least in the record, him saying, I advised her or him to start using a cane, to get a cane, or it could be a rolling walker, it could be, whatever it is, because of the instability and risk of fall that has increased or whatever. Something to show that it was medically advised that you get it. I get it's frustrating because if we feel unstable and we want to get a cane, you think, why should we have to do that? Well, because the point is anyone can just say it. And I know we don't want to think that anyone would just see the SSA and try to get monies every month that they are not deserving of and haven't, become disabled enough to get. But it's true. And we all know it's true. So unless it is medically documented by your doctor that it's recommended, I would say even if he doesn't do a prescription for it, I would try to get the prescription though. It's definitely means he's putting in more effort. You don't have to fulfill the prescription as long as you get the cane. Next time, if he's doing his job or next time you come to the office and you're carrying a cane, using it to help ambulate, it should say, she's here with a cane, walking with a cane today, that kind of thing. But we see this need for it to be a doctor recommended thing because the SSA adjudicators / ALJs will, I've seen it numerous times, not discredit, I should say disregard and not give weight to, or at least not more than if you just said, I need a cane, if it's not. I've seen them do this with canes. I've seen them do this with braces. I've seen them do it with a person's need to recline and get off their feet and elevate their feet to reduce edema and swelling in their lower extremities. I have seen, and the irony is that is the protocol. If you look on any medical literature site of authoritative medical providers, like some of the biggies, one of the home remedies to include in your therapies is to periodically recline and elevate your legs. But nonetheless, even though that's common sense, and people have probably been doing it for centuries when they had that problem, unless the doctor says something that kind of correlates with what you say you're doing, which you might be mentioning in your function report or in your testimony at hearing, unless the doctor says, I've recommended that she periodically, and I'll get to that in a second, but let's say it's periodically elevate her legs throughout the day. Ideally, it's going to say chest high, because there's been denouncements of when, well, if it's only 6 inches and it's only one leg, then they could be at a desk with it raised 6 inches. So try to get it in there about the chest high, because edema really does generally have to be chest high, because it's all that fluctuating. It's usually cardio involved, not always, but so, and they have said in the past, if it's not mentioned by the doctor, they're not going to give it any weight whatsoever. And if it is mentioned by the doctor, but it doesn't say how frequently he thinks it should be, you might want to get them pinned down on that. We try to get them pinned down on that. Like, so when you're saying, you know, she needs to periodically elevate her legs, and she says she's been doing it every 2 hours for 30 minutes each, and she's still, by the time the next 2 hours comes and it's time to go do it, she's in pretty bad shape. Should it be the same? Do you recommend she do it more frequently? Do you recommend that each time she does it, it's for a longer period? What do you recommend, doc? So try to, if you can, get them to narrow it down. And obviously, the more time you have to, and again, we're hopping between canes and elevating, but with regard to the elevating of the legs, the more you're in a recliner elevating your legs chest high, that is all off task time as a general rule. With regard to the cane, a cane does not eliminate all jobs, but it can eliminate some. Okay. So don't count on it. Just don't think that because you need a cane, you can do no work. That's not true. But some of the issues with a cane is it a cane just for when you're walking? Is it a cane for when you're standing as well? And the reason why there's a difference in that is because they say if you don't need it for standing, then you could stand at a workbench and do workbench type of work, which might be small parts assembly, things of that nature, factory work. If you need it for standing, that means that one of your hands is either going to have to be holding the bench, since you're not going to be holding your cane probably, or your cane, and you only have one hand in which to do small parts assembly, and you need two. The other thing with a cane is if you are, let's say, in an office setting, they're like, oh, a person with a cane could do office work because it's mostly sit down. True. But there is an expectation that you can be on your feet in a sedentary job up to 2 hours out of those 8 hours while you're sitting the other 6. And there is an expectation that you might have to, at least for some jobs, carry something when you're walking across the room or up the hallway to your boss's office. Maybe it's a file, maybe it's something else. So it has to be where the only things you'd carry would be in one hand, and because the other hand is being usurped by the cane. So again, doctor's notation in the record that he recommends it, not just that he sees you use it. Now, of course, you want to use it every time you go to the doctor, if that's what you need to do. If your cane is only for the super, super bad days that happen once a month, it's relevant. Obviously, it's not as limiting, but you would be honest about that. But if it's something that you do pretty much whenever you walk around, except for maybe inside your house, because I don't know if you have a house as tight and cramped as mine. Don't let the visual behind you fool you. My house does not look like that. People hold on to their sofa, they go around it, they're holding onto the counter when they go in the kitchen. There's so many support items around. But when we're out and about without control over our environment in our communities, going to the grocery store, going to the bank, etc., we don't have those known assistive, solid, I don't know what you'd call it, walls and counters and everything at our disposal. Not readily anyway. Not where we know they are. We know we can get them. We're using them every 10 feet, just to help shuffle along. So know that, guys. If the doctor says, yeah, go get a cane, maybe speak to him. I'm not sure how you're going to want to do that. I've told people before not to just automatically tell your doctors your legal business, that you're filing for an insurance proceed under Social Security disability. Many of them, and I have videos on this, don't take well to it, some of them. And you don't want to take that risk until you know for sure your doctor's on board, which you're not going to know unless he actually comes out and says it. So it can be a tough thing to negotiate. But how you're going to get him to prescribe a cane, perhaps say, if it seems like it could be so, I'm not sure, but I think my insurance company will pay me back if I submit the receipt with a prescription from my doctor. Then the money I spent on the cane will be refunded to me. Would you mind prescribing it for me? And I'm sure he's going to be willing to do that, because why wouldn't he if he recommends it? Anywho, that's it about the cane, guys. But it comes up far too often to not reiterate it home and drive it home. So anyway, we will see you guys in the next few days. Hopefully I'll see you Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are actually heading into the Christmas week, and I will be doing the live stream Christmas Eve, I think that is, right? Wednesday. So I know a lot of people aren't going to be around, but I thought I would do it anyway as a little Christmas share before the holidays, because everyone that shows up for those things are so deserving in my mind, and I really appreciate them. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.